evening. It was a very big day for some Southern school pupils today. The whole of Halfmoon Bay School on Stewart Island went to town. They came to see the 1990 Roadshow in Invercargill, and Kim Hurring was at the airport when they arrived.
Southern Air had to make 4 flights to bring all 46 children, teachers and parents across from the island. Not your average school outing. For some youngsters this was the first time they'd flown, and it's only the second time since 1953 the whole school's come over to South Island. Cookie Kia, the Roadshow mascot, was a great hit with the children. As they arrived, along with many other schools today, Stewart Island got a special welcome for coming so far.
So, ladies and gentlemen, applause please for Halfmoon Bay.
And this is what they'd come to see, a display of New Zealand history from the arrival of the Māori through whalers, European settlers and the Treaty of Waitangi. Cookie Kia continued to bring the message home, and the kids couldn't leave the giant bird alone. Another big hit, the human frog. And 3D glasses had to be worn to see the mobile exhibition. In particular, are there any special lessons they might have learnt from this morning?
No, I can't think of any. No, not particular.
Okay, just good fun.
Just good fun, that's us.
What have you enjoyed about this morning?
Well, I like the displays and they're quite nice.
The telephone part because you can talk to each other.
And ice cream. Watching TV, whatever that thing is.
The principal says if for no other reason the trip was worth it, because the school was together on an outing for a day.
Dunedin's tertiary institutions and the city are all set to take advantage of the interest by foreign students in learning English. They've set up an English language centre, which will cater for as many as 800 fee-paying students each year. Kathy Graham reports.
The centre will be based at Dunedin's new Polytechnic, where all the latest facilities are available. There'll be computer-assisted learning programs with state-of-the-art software provided by the consortium's English advisors, who are described as leaders in the field. Jill Parata spent a year initiating and setting up the centre. It's aimed at people who need English to communicate internationally, not as a second language. Courses will vary in length and will cost $400 a week in fees.
These people are paying these fees already in other countries, and I think we need to recognise that we have resources here that are capable of earning returns, and this is part of the government strategy in terms of freeing up education to enable it to be another important export commodity.
It's made an awful lot of money in England and in Europe, and it's a new venture here. I think the market is there. It's got to be tapped.
We're offering quality courses, so this will inevitably mean that we're attracting people from the top end of the market.
With the University, Teachers College, Polytechnic and City Council backing the centre, the organisers are confident it'll cover costs within 3 years.
You might remember stories in our programme last year about Tania Young, a little Dunedin girl who at the age of 2 was paralysed after an eye operation went wrong. Her parents, like many others with children in the same plight, took her to a special education institute in Budapest in Hungary in the hope of improving her abilities. Now she's back home, and Kathy Graham takes up the story.
Pushing up. Good girl. What a good girl. Bravo. And down. Down, 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 down. Good girl. And again, push.
For Tania, this is a sign of real progress. 2 months ago, her parents took her to the Pato Institute in Hungary, world famous for its work in rehabilitating muscular damage. Conductors work with the children and parents, who then have to keep up the program when they leave the institute.
But as the conductor said to us in the last interview, you know, Westerners come here and they say, now what's the magic, what's the secret of conductive education? He said there is no secret, it is just repetition again and again and again and hard work. And
for Tania, it's not the first time she's learned to crawl.
Off you go. Push. Good girl. You've nearly got there, Biscuit. You're going to have to get your arms out. Oh, very good.
She was a healthy, happy 2-year-old before an operation at Dunedin's Mater Hospital that went wrong, leaving her brain damaged and unable to control her movements. 2 years on, what once came naturally has to be painstakingly relearned.
Everybody, foreign person that goes there asks, you know, will my child walk? And we asked that, and they said, well, they didn't think that she would ever walk on her own, but that she would walk with sticks, and they said that she's grasped quite a lot of difficult abstract concepts like to lift and to push, because she can lift and push, you know, as we tell her, and that shows that she's got, you know, that she is intelligent, and that they thought that she would learn to communicate a lot better with some sort of language, even if it was only not very clear.
And a horse, what has a mane and hoofs? A horse, of course.
What Tania has developed is a great love of books, but how much she will ever understand or communicate, only the future will tell.
Determined, resolute and unflinching. That's how the South Island women's yachting team has been described. They're training for the national keelboat champs at the moment, so Michael Brown put on his winter woolies and went out to see how tough they really are. Well, that was the plan.
Well, we'd like to tell you we found the women practising in a howling gale, but it wouldn't be true. What we got was this, Lyttelton's only patch of windless weather for days. It was no good demanding to know who shot the albatross. The South Island's only team and the women's keelboat champs couldn't even demonstrate their skills, let alone their all-weather grit. So at the heart-stopping speed of 1.5 knots, they settled for talking about their will to win in Auckland next week.
We'll train in any weather you like. We've had nor'westers, gusts up to 45 knots. We've had the decks covered with hail about that.
We had to sweep them off with a broom. It was just thick hail. You can make big snowballs out of it.
Jill Edwards, skipper. Marie Hamilton and Ros Melkin, trimmers. Irene Shanks, bowman. Lynn Dawson, jammer. Sarah Hunter on the mainsheet. And Francie Nichols, mast and foredeck. None have sailed together before, and they know what a task they've set themselves.
I think we all realised how much it takes out of you after a full day's sailing. We all got home really tired the first 2 or 3 times, and I think I feel much fitter after all the sailing we've been doing.
The short courses are particularly hard. You've got to be super quick and efficient, and that's pretty hard on your muscles. So a lot of us have doing gym work and a bit of weight training as well.
Women's sailing is well established up north. Down here, well, it's a bit slower, if you believe the comment of one yachting official.
Stood up and said, well, he was pretty surprised that we're actually 14 women who could sail in Canterbury. He got roundly booed, actually.
I think he was honestly surprised.
He was, yes.
Because there are not that many females, really, who participate regularly with racing down here. That's every single week with all the races. The crews are male-dominated, but most crews now would have a female on board.
Wouldn't you know it, a breeze just as we were heading home. Three knots wasn't going to give anyone heart trouble, but it did bring out something of the attunement to wind, water and vessel they're going to need for the win. The mild weather may even be necessary. After all, conditions up north could be rather soft for the women from the roaring 40s.
Before we go, I'd like you to meet my friend. He's the child cancer mascot who'll be helping out on Sunday with the big Otago Southland Child Cancer Appeal to raise funds to pay for the unit where patients' families stay in Dunedin. But don't call us, we're going to call you. On Sunday, hundreds of volunteers in the region will be bringing their way through the phone book to ask for your donation. Stay listening to your radio, and we'll be back on Monday night. Good night.